Is your relationship toxic? Only you and the person you're within that relationship with, only you two understand the dynamics of the relationship. But there are some telltale signs. There are some feelings and some emotions that you may come across when navigating any kind of relationship, but specifically a relationship that has toxic tendencies, or there may be some toxic behavior happening. Just understand that without therapy, without really becoming well invested into your self-work, elevation, and journey, you are going to be coming across some very triggering aspects in your relationship dynamic. The thing that not too many people understand or recognize is that when you get into your relationship, this is when all of that trauma, all of the things that you have been holding on to for your entire life, unconscious, subconscious memories that you have no idea are still prevalent in your life or in your spirit, all of those things are going to come forward within your relationship, and you are going to be forced to reckon with the skeletons in your closet or the issues from your past. Because of that fact, it kind of puts everybody in the predicament of potentially being with a toxic partner, or you yourself being that toxic partner. But of course, there are varying levels of degrees with everything. So while we all may exhibit some form of baggage or something that we're coming to the relationship with that may not be fully healed, again, there are some telltale signs that do differentiate between one that may be just dealing with the average relationship thing and people that may be dealing with some deeper issues that they may be projecting onto the person that they're with. Let's talk about it. My name is FallonFavors. Thank you for joining me for another episode. Back in the day, okay, and then, some of my old videos, you guys can definitely check those out. I implore you to check those out. I have so much good content and so much good information there. But in those videos, I used to do something called Real Talk, and it would just be us kind of shooting the ish, and us meaning the community, kind of just shooting the ish about any said, topic. I've had some really successful videos just doing real talks and not really having the format and so much editing and, all of the things that go into creating content for you guys. But it essentially is just a conversation had openly with no, again, structure, format, or notes, just me kind of going off of the cuff based off of my knowledge and what I feel about this said topic. So when we are talking about toxic relationships, of course, I think anybody that has lived a little while can reference some type of personal experience or something that they've seen a family friend or, somebody go through. And it's not fun. It's not fun. And when you're in these toxic relationships, really just diving straight into it, I feel like you become a person that you don't want to be, that you've never aspired to be, that you don't wish to be in the future. It's really, really hard to look in the mirror and see yourself kind of evolve or turn into a person that you're not proud of. And when you're in a toxic relationship, these people are going to be bringing out the absolute worst in you. What is so interesting, as I was referencing in the very beginning of the video, is there's so much nuance in life in general. And while, as I was noting, everybody is gonna have a little bit of toxicity in there because we all have been through stuff. I don't think anybody is coming into a relationship with a completely just clean bill of health, so to speak. But some of us have deeper cuts and deeper wounds than others. And for those of us that have not sought any type of healing therapies to navigate or deal with that, these are going to be the most prime candidates to experience levels of toxicity in their relationship, project toxicity onto their partner in their relationship. These are going to be these people. So the biggest thing is kind of like, okay, well, what would qualify as being toxic? Like, what qualifies being in a toxic relationship? I do feel like this is subjective. Everybody's situation, everyone's tolerance is going to be slightly different. So what may be a non-negotiable for me may be something that you find as permissible. It's work withable. We can figure something out, and vice versa. So I think that it does just depend on the two people that are involved. However, there are going to be some very obvious, in my opinion, signs that you are in a toxic relationship and that it may not be the best thing for your health at the moment. As noted, if you are turning into somebody that you are not proud of, if you are exhibiting behaviors, have you ever had somebody bring you out of your character, bring you out of who you really are and who you are on a more consistent basis with other people in your life? You don't want to blame anybody else for your behavior, because we're all adults and we do have to take onus and responsibility for how we behave, how we interact, what our reactionary responses are and things like that. But there are people that trigger you so much that they can take you to a place where you feel like your back is up against the wall and you have to go into survival mode and you exhibit certain tendencies or behaviors that are not favorable, that are not something that you're proud of. So I think that's a really good way to tell, is someone pulling you out of your character, taking you into a space and into a place of being somebody that you do not want to be. After you leave this person, this is really why self-awareness is really important, and being in tune with your body, really listening to your bodies, especially as a woman, but listening to the responses and the way that your body speaks to you and talks to you. How do you feel before you see this person, when you're in the presence of this person, and after you leave this person? Do you feel inspired? Do you feel excited? Do you feel light? Do you feel hopeful? Do you feel full of energy? Do you feel renewed? Do you feel joy and contentment and the positive feelings, a lot of those fulfilling feelings? Do you feel those things, or do you feel nervous, unsure, unclear? You're worried, you're thinking, you're overthinking. Do you feel insecure? Do you feel withdrawn? Do you feel small? Do you feel closed in? Do you feel self-conscious? Like, those kind of indicators are also going to let you know that, hey, maybe this situation or this person that I'm dealing with, this person may not be the best for my health. This person is really bringing up some very unpleasant emotions. And again, we do have to use our higher levels of consciousness. As I mentioned, we're all going to trigger each other in some way, shape, or form. And honestly, if you're in a healthy relationship, you're going to experience some of that triggering, but that triggering is going to help you evolve for the better. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, but there is a difference. You're probably not going to feel so many of those negative emotions when you are in the presence or before or after you're around this person. That is going to be a key indicator that this person may not be the best for your health. Another big indicator is if you're always instilled with fear, whether it be about the outcome of this relationship, where this relationship is going to go, just the dynamics of the relationship, or even outside of your relationship, even if it's on a personal level and you're thinking about your future and whether or not you're going to be able to reach the goals that you have for yourself, or what kind of life you're going to be able to live, if you'll have kids, just all of the worries about life. If you are leading with a fear-based mindset, this may be indicative of the type of person that you're spending your quality time with. If this person is toxic, they are going to instill doubt in your mind. This is not going to be a situation where you are self-assured, you are rest assured that this person has your back, that this person wants nothing for you but the best, that this person is seeing a future with you and wants to build with you and wants to go the long haul. And you're not going to really have those doubts and a lot of that fear, because that person is going to be assisting you with making sure that they are doing their part to make the relationship what it is. And just going even deeper into that, as we were talking about listening to your body will also tell you when you've had enough. Sometimes we are so in our own heads, especially when we don't want the answer to our questions about the person to be, leave that person alone. Cut that person off. We don't need to have that person in our lives. When we're not really ready to reckon with the reality of what we may need to do, we will kind of overthink our way into behaving or participating in the relationship that will best serve that outcome. But your body, a lot of us don't have enough respect for our bodies. Your body will sound the alarm when you're around somebody that's just not right. There's a reason why kids can be around somebody that they've never seen, they've never met, and they have no reason to be uncomfortable around them, but as soon as they're around them, they don't question their intuition or the feelings that they get about the person. They just go off. Their body alerts, their spirit will alert them, something about them ain't right. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's not them. Maybe it's the people that they around. Something about that energy that they are wearing ain't right. I'm not rolling. So there is something to be said about that. And your body will also give you those key indicators that something is off. Your body may respond with you being anxious. Your body may respond with you having physical symptoms. Your stomach may be ill. This is called your solar plexus. If you want to get into your chakras, I'm starting to get into that and getting really, really invested in just in a effort to understand myself and my body. But in your gut, if your gut is not responding in kind, if you're constantly running to the bathroom, if you can't keep any food down without feeling upset, if you're having really aggressive menstrual cycles, these are the ways that your body is speaking to you. It's just that we're not listening. Our bodies are talking to us all the time and giving us indicators to navigate us through using our instincts, what is for us and what is not, what is healthy for us and what is not. So if your hair is falling out, if you are stressed out, biting your nails, if your skin is flushed and full of acne and other imperfections, if you're losing a lot of weight, if you're gaining a lot of weight, if you're overeating, if you're undereating, these are the ways your body speaks to you. So pay attention to that. Those could be signs that you're around somebody that's not good for you, that's not healthy for you. And we can go on and on and on about this topic. Maybe we will do a part 2. I just wanted to come with some very brief information about that, just so we can begin to start scratching the surface. I actually do want to circle back to this topic in the future, but the biggest indicator, right? Because again, we're talking about how do you know? There's such a fine line. If in a healthy relationship you're getting triggered, in the toxic relationship you're getting triggered, how are you able to differentiate between the two and understand whether or not you're in a relationship that is thriving and growing and going through growing pains, or are you in a relationship that is taking more from you than adding? I feel the way that you're able to tell by the woman that you're becoming. If you are becoming, and if you are a better woman now than you were when you met the person, that is a key indicator about where you are and who that person is to you and whether or not that person is healthy for you. If you started doing a whole bunch of positive things, you had regimens, you had systems, you had discipline, you had a positive self-image, you had your own life and things that you were ticking off of your goals box. If you had things in order, or at least as much as could be, at whatever said time. But if you were really focused and loving on yourself, and then towards the end or the duration of this relationship, you're finding yourself in a place where you don't even recognize yourself, baby, that's toxic. And another way that you can tell the difference is the person that you're in relationship with, through all of the ebbs and flows and the ups and downs and the triggering and the traumas and all of that stuff, through all of the murky things that we deal with when we are trying to merge a life with somebody, that person will be holding your hand the entire way. Maybe even most of the way, maybe not even the entire way, because they're on their own journey, right? But you are gonna have somebody that is in the ring fighting with you. If there is nobody to bounce this energy off of, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and you're just kind of a receptacle for whatever energy that person may be holding or handling up on or dealing with, and they're projecting that onto you, and you're left to pick up all of the pieces on your own, that is toxic. You cannot have a relationship with just one person pulling all of the weight, carrying all of the weight for the whole relationship. You need a participant. You need somebody that can pick up the slack somewhere. Maybe it's not even in the way in which you would hope, right? Maybe this person shows up for you in other ways, and you know that this person is really dedicated and committed in the way that they're able to or have the capacity to, and they're not pulling from you so much that you feel completely exhausted and depleted. They are invested in showing up. They are invested in putting in the work, getting all of the little nasty emotions and things that they need to deal with that may be affecting the current state of your relationship. They're willing to go there. They're willing to deal with it. And it doesn't mean that they're perfect. It doesn't mean that they're not going to trigger you. It doesn't mean that you are not going to go through bouts of sadness or irritation, or you just don't like that person at that time. All of those things are very normal in a relationship, even in healthy relationships, believe it or not. And there's so much growth that can be fostered as a result of being in a position where you're open to learn when you're in those tough arenas of just trying to figure life out. But if you have somebody that is constantly just pulling from you, they're never pouring back in, they're always unloading and dumping on you. When it's time for them to show up for you, they're unwilling or unable to do that. That's kind of how you know the difference. So the best policy is, because I would never urge any of you all to leave your relationship based on this information or based on anybody's assessment of what's right or wrong or whatever. You have to decide that for yourself. However, with this conversation that we're having, with every other conversation that you've had with friends, family, stuff that you looked up on the internet, things that your astrology information, all of the different things that you may be using to figure out what is your next move, make sure you're just taking a beat to really get in tune with yourself and listen to those body cues. Listen to what your body is trying to tell you. We talk ourselves out of what we know we need to do all the freaking time. And it's not just as it pertains to relationships, but we have to really be careful about what we tell ourselves, what we try to convince ourselves of. Your partner does not have to be perfect. And I'm not urging anybody to leave anybody, but take a really hard look as to if this person is in the ring fighting with you, if they are being vulnerable with you, if they are being transparent, if they are trying to come to the table with something that will help you guys move forward in a positive direction. At the end of the day, no one should be making you feel less than. No one should be making you feel insecure, self-conscious, doubtful, fearful. You should be feeling renewed, rejuvenated, ready to take on the world. And not all the time, but most of the time. And if most of the time you're feeling those other feelings, baby, you are probably in a toxic situation. And it doesn't even mean that this relationship or that situation has to last like that forever. But in order to shift the dynamic of the relationship that you're in out of that toxic space, you're going to have to put your big girl panties on and really navigate through that with fearlessness and trusting that you will make it through, whether that person wants to get on board with remedying or rectifying that negative energy or not. You can't force anybody to be at the place that you're at. You can't force anybody to see their behavior as toxic. You can present the information to them, and if they are committed to you and where it is that you guys are going, you will see that, and that will be seen in your interactions with that person. So, word to the wise, pay attention to what your body is telling you. Pay attention to what you know to be true. Pray on it. Your answers will always be there. Okay, you guys, thank you for joining me for another episode. Hope you enjoyed. Please make sure you drop in the comments and let me know if this resonated. As always, I know all of us have been in toxic relationships and situations. We will do a part 2 to this as well. We're gonna have a lot of part 2s for a lot of the conversations that we're having, but just wanted to come with some real talk today. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, share. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you get notified anytime we drop anything new over here. And I cannot wait to see you guys next week. I love you. Peace.